Hey there guys, and welcome back. As always, thanks so much for joining me. In this video, we're going to continue our conversation around 28 years later. We've got some brand new images to dive into, and we'll do a bit of a recap on the information that we know so far about this upcoming movie. I could not be more excited. But anyway, without further ado, let's jump in, break down some of this information, and we'll take a look at these brand new images as well. So, this comes to us from Bloody Disgusting. 28 years later, new images from infection sequel Spread the Disease. It says new images spread the disease. I hope I don't get a disease by looking at the images. I hope that's not what it means. I'm sure it means the disease within the movie itself. I'm just playing coy there. But anyway, we have an image there. That was that kind of titular zombie that showed up in the trailer that everyone thought Cillian Murphy was the zombie here. Obviously, the creatives behind the movie have come out and confirmed this is not Cillian Murphy. So if you see any of these images going around, or if you're still convinced in the trailer that that was Cillian Murphy, that kind of weird zombie that popped out of the grass, we know that it's officially not him. So I just want to put that note out there. But pretty cool image, seeing that zombie from another perspective. Looks proper creepy. Remember, these zombies have been out in the wild now for quite a long time, so they're kind of disheveled. They're like skin and bones. They look very almost like caveman-ish, if that's kind of a way of putting it. They look very, very creepy, and I can't wait to see how they're going to look in the actual movie. So, Sony was on hand at Cinemacon last night to offer up some new footage from 28 years later, but while that footage hasn't made its way online, we do have some new images today. So yeah, bear in mind guys, Cinemacon was over the last few days in Las Vegas. All the major studios, movie studios from around the world get together and they present new information about their upcoming projects, and 28 years later was one of those projects that they were talking about. So the long-awaited sequel to 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later puts Danny Boyle back in the director's chair with Alex Garland from 28 Days Later, Ex Machina and Annihilation scripting. I love all of those films. Ex Machina, that was an incredible movie. Do check it out if you haven't seen it. Check out the new images and expect more soon. And once again, this is not Cillian Murphy in the above shot. That shot we were looking at the beginning here, that's not Cillian Murphy. But Murphy is expected to return to the franchise in this new trilogy. You may have to wait a bit to see him though, we're told. So, yeah, whoever said that, one of the creatives behind the upcoming trilogy, we're going to have to wait to see him. And then when he does show up, what kind of capacity, how important is his character going to be? Is it going to be like a huge role, a supporting role, a cameo? We just don't know to what degree he's going to factor into the narrative. But as a pretty important character, I would imagine that the story is going to heavily play around his character to some degree. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. So 28 Years Later will be unleashed in theaters June 20th, 2025. So we haven't got that long to wait, guys. Click your fingers and it will be here in no time at all. Cannot be more excited. Losing my damn mind for this movie. The second installment in the new trilogy of Infection Tales already dated for theatrical release January 16th, 2026. So literally June 20th, 2025, we're getting 28 Years Later. Then we get 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple on January 16th, 2026. So literally 6 months after, which is incredibly fast. That's crazy. It's better than having to wait like 3 or 4 years for the next installment, that's for sure. The Bone Temple, and directed by Nia DaCosta. Nia DaCosta, I think, is the same director that directed The Marvels. The really bad, awful Marvel MCU movie. So I'm a little bit cautious about that, but we'll have to wait and see how it turns out. So in 28 Years Later, it's been almost 3 decades since the rage virus escaped a biological weapons laboratory, and now, still in the ruthlessly enforced quarantine, some have found ways to exist amidst the infected. So yeah, bear in mind guys, it happened 3 decades ago. So people who have been infected, they've been out in the countryside, roaming in the wild now for going on 3 decades. So the zombie is going to look pretty wild. And we've seen that from the behind the scenes images, the leaked set images, that the zombies look pretty disheveled. And I'm assuming you would be pretty disheveled if you'd been out in the wild for 30 years. So one group of survivors lives on a small island connected to the mainland by a single heavily defended causeway, which we saw in the trailer. When one of the group leaves the island on a mission into the dark heart of the mainland, he discovers secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated not only the infected, but other survivors as well. The following cast list includes Jack O'Connell, Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Alfie Williams, and Ralph Fiennes. So it's a pretty damn good cast. I mean, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Jodie Comer, Ralph Fiennes, Jack O'Connell. I mean, really, really great cast there. So let's go down and take a look at these new images. So we have this one here with Aaron Taylor-Johnson and this kind of teen child companion of his that he's making his way through the British countryside. It looks like they come across some sort of building here. The doors are ajar. You can see here, obviously, there's massive cracks and holes in the door. Whatever they're looking at, they seem to be pretty horrified. They've got a pretty surprised look on their face. So whatever they're seeing seems to be quite shocking to some degree. But anyway, moving on to the next one. So we have, again, Aaron Taylor-Johnson with this young teen kid. It looks like they're just making their way outside of the base that they've come from. We can see we've got this big fence around the perimeter. It's got all the barbed wire around the poles that are sticking out of the ground here. And it looks like they're on their way to the mainland, potentially, to go and discover whatever it is that they're looking for. But pretty cool. It's great to see this kind of rugged barbed wire fence. It looks exactly like what you would expect from a settlement in an apocalypse. It's just wooden poles stuck in the ground with barbed wire just stuck everywhere. You know, it's what casual people would make if they had no building skills, really. Okay, moving on to the next one. We've got this scene here of Aaron Taylor-Johnson again with this kid. And it looks like we've got this character hanging upside down from a building. Looks like potentially a soldier, maybe. We can see there's a bag over the head. There's a rope around the neck. Is this Cillian Murphy's character? This is what I've been theorizing, because we see part of this in the trailer as well. And is it Cillian Murphy? I'm not sure that it is, but it could potentially be. I'm kind of on the fence about that, but I'd love to know what you guys think. Pretty cool, though, seeing them in this kind of abandoned building, wherever they are. It may be like a military facility or something, and this soldier's been sort of ambushed and left upside down. Maybe he's still alive, maybe he's dead. We'll have to wait and see how that scene plays out. So, moving on to the next one, we've got Ralph Fiennes here. I'm not sure if he's covered in blood or is that bruises. It looks like he's got bruises all over his body. It looks like he's either infected or he's been in some gigantic fight where he's just really bruised to hell. It's kind of hard to tell, but it definitely looks like he's had a few bumps and bruises along the way, whatever he's been doing. And he's got this kind of callous look on his face, like he's up to no good. And yeah, it looks like he's going to be causing some mayhem and some trouble within this movie. I can't wait to see what Ralph Fiennes does. Phenomenal actor. He's so good in everything that he's in. So I'm really excited to see what he does. Let's just see what some of the comments are here. So it looks really good, honestly. Thing is, I'm really nostalgic for this shambling, flesh-eating type of zombie. So a good new style zombie movie always feels bittersweet. It looks like Ralph Fiennes is infected. He has red veins on his chest. Yeah, going back to that image again, that's what I was saying. It does look like he's infected, but he could just be bashed up. Or maybe he's infected, but he's actually immune to the infection. So he's partly infected, but it's not fully overtaken him. That could be a thing that we might see. People are infected, but they're immune. There's going to be some people out there who are immune to this virus. So we'll have to see how that works out. Let's go back down to the comments here. No way, this is shitty. I hope it's fucking insane. Glad to see Danny back directing in the horror realm. These shots are going to blow us away. So in May, we have FD. Then in this FD, I'm not sure what that is. Then this in June. Let's hope they don't suck, and we'll be back here to catch up with everyone. Bring it on, please be great, or as Ringo would say, The Last of Us. Okay, so that's just some of the comments there. But yeah, I mean, the more pictures we see, the more content, the more marketing, it gets me excited. I didn't think I could be more excited for this movie than I already am. One of my most anticipated movies of the year by far. I think they're going to knock it out of the park, and a lot of people seem to be very, very interested in what they're doing, bringing this franchise back. But guys, you see these images here. What do you think about them, and what do you think they mean for the movie? What's your theories, thoughts, comments, and opinions on these images? What do you think is happening in these scenes? I would love to hear your feedback on what you think is going on here. And do you think Ralph Fiennes is actually infected here? Or like me, do you have a theory that maybe he's immune to the infection, but he's partly infected maybe? Whatever your thoughts are about this, guys, I would love to hear down below. As always, thanks so much for being here. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave. Consider becoming a subscriber of the channel if you haven't done so far. It goes a long way to supporting my content, so I'd really appreciate that. And as always, I will see you in the next video.